Now, traffic on the Malam Kaswa Road has been diverted at the Dunkona junction near the Wager ShopRite supermarket to make way for the construction of an interchange. The interchange is expected to ease congestion on the stretch once the nearby West Hills Mall is open to shoppers. My colleague Leda was there and she brought in this report.
Have the police here directing traffic. Yesterday at 1 p.m. the traffic was diverted from the main Accra-bound road onto a side road, and so it's just to the right of the road, and it's because they want to allow the road to be accessible as they want to construct an interchange, which will also include an underpass that will be able to, for shoppers to access the West Hills Mall that has been constructed. So the road is a 650-meter diversion at the Dunkona junction, and then when you go after 650 meters, you are able to join the main road, and then you head to Accra. And so on my right is the West Hills Mall that is still under construction, and at this particular moment I see construction workers on site, but I don't see any drilling or any major work going on here, and I've not seen any officials on site to speak to, but I have the police here. They've been here since morning when I came, and they've been directing traffic, and it is smooth. So I'll be walking to the inspector who is in charge here, so he will tell us how long they are going to be here and what's going on around here. So hello, DSP Inspector, please, your name and your designation.
Chief Lieutenant Anderson Fusu Aka. I'm in charge of Regional TTU Accra.
Okay, please, how long are you going to be here?
For the start, we are going to be here for 1 week, 7 days, that we are going to ensure that drivers accept the new road when they are used to it, and we live here.
Okay. So have you been told how long the construction is going to take?
Yes, for what we have been told, we are told like to take between 5 to 6 months, but our presence will be only for the first week to be sure that drivers are used to the new construction that they've made available to the public.
Oh, okay. So after next week, we are not going to see you here?
We will be here, but we will not be here in our numbers as you see this morning.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of officers here. Is it necessary to bring all of them here?
Yes, for the first week we need to bring them so that when drivers and the public pedestrians are used to the road, that will reduce the number.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. So basically you are here to ensure safety?
Yes, we are here to ensure safety and compliance of the traffic.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
So the police are here to ensure safety and compliance, to make sure that drivers adhere to the rules and regulations, and also to get familiar with the diversion. So the inspector says that after a week they are not going to be here. They are going to be here for only a week. From the Malam Kaswa Highway, Adelaide Arthur reporting for Joy News.
Now, over 200 artisans at Swami Magazine in Kumasi are demonstrating against the construction of a cemetery within their current place of work. The demonstrators were prevented from entering the Ministerial Palace by police personnel Monday morning. Now, viewers are, informed that the pictures you see now were taken by an amateur photographer. But I have over the telephone Joy News' Ashanti regional correspondent Nuruddin Mohammed. Thank you very much, Nuruddin, for joining us here.
Thank you very much for coming in.
I understand these artisans are now in Kofru.
Yeah, they are now at Kofru heading towards the magazine, and they have spoken to them and that they were going to resolve the issue very soon. The police have also intervened to speak to the artisans, and that they are going to talk to the Muslims to stop the work. Yesterday, for instance, the construction started, and they are saying that they want to raise the wall to prevent people from encroaching the land that they used to bury their people, and so they wouldn't want anybody to encroach it. But the artisans are saying they are not in against of what the Muslims are doing, but their fear is that the Muslims have extended the construction of the walls to some parts of their lands, which may render them jobless. So that is what they are against now. So they have spoken to them and they are heading towards the back magazine.
I see. But what did they go to do at the Menchia Palace?
They're going to, they send a group of people, persons there to go and then talk to them, let them know what their issues are, and that was exactly what they have done. And I'm told that they've been able to resolve that issue. They have spoken to them, and they are now, I can see them now coming back to magazine. As I'm talking now, a group of them are now coming back to magazine. If you can hear from the background, they are now chanting and shouting back to the cemetery. Now they are at the cemetery and they are heading towards their workplaces. You can hear from the background.
How does the location of the cemetery affect their work at Swami?
Yeah, the cemetery is so big that, they have their shop close to the cemetery. So the construction of the wall has been extended. According to them, it has been extended into parts of where they work, and eventually it will render some of them jobless because they will end up pulling down their shop, and that is what they are not happy about.
I see. Thank you very much, Nuruddin, for that information. We've been speaking to our Ashanti Regional Correspondent, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin. Thanks for staying on News Today. Let's get into some business stories now. And the Minerals Commission is predicting that Ghana will lose 500,000 ounces of gold this year as a result of declining gold prices, which has forced some mining companies to suspend their operations. An assistant manager at the Minerals Commission, Daniel Kramper, said gold production for 2014 is estimated at 3.1 million ounces from an initial target of 3.6 million. The price of an ounce of gold as of last Friday went for $1,299.71, according to Bloomberg. Supposing this price remains the same throughout the year, Ghana would be losing $649,855,000 in revenue due to the 500,000 ounces shortfall. The country's gold production climbed to a record of 4.3 million ounces in 2012 from the 3.6 million ounces previous year after prices reached a record high in September 2011. Ghana produced 107.9 metric tons of gold in 2013, making it the 8th biggest producer. Now, President John Dramani Mahama says government is making efforts to pay bonuses to Ghanaian cocoa farmers. President Mahama announced this when he addressed Midday Tepa in the Ahafua South District of the Ashanti region as part of his 3-day official visit to the region. The president noted plans were also advanced to increase the producer price of the commodity to make farmers in all the cocoa producing zones comfortable. Cocoa is the backbone of Ghana's economy, and President Mahama noted government would ensure that all necessary measures were taken to encourage farmers to increase production. And while the European Commission has raised its growth forecast for the EU, saying that the recovery has taken hold. The 26 nations of the EU are forecast to grow by 1.6% for 2014, a touch higher than the forecast of 1.5% made in late February. The growth forecast for the 18-nation Eurozone remains at 1.2% for 2014. The Commission expects the jobs market to continue to improve, forecasting EU unemployment will fall to 10.1% this year. In March, the rate was 10.5%, and unemployment in the euro area is expected to fall to 11.4% from 11.8% in March. Now, the National Tripartite Committee last week concluded negotiations on the national daily minimum wage for workers. While the wage will be increased by 14.5%, representing 6.01 cedis, the committee also agreed to give workers 10% of their basic pay as cost of living allowance. Ibrahim Cumson is General Secretary for the Ghana Federation of Labour. Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for your time.
Thank you, madam.
Right. Take us through an understanding of this. Now minimum wage is 6.01 cedis, and then there is COLA of 10%. What are these two?
Come again.
I'm asking that what is the understanding Labour gets from these two?
It's okay. Looking at the current situation of the economy, I think that it is the best.
I see. Your minimum wage went up, but your basic pay remains the same. However, you get a 10% COLA.
You see, minimum wage is not a living wage. Minimum wage is the lowest wage that no employer should pay below. It is not a living wage where either factors are taken into account. For instance,
let me then come to my question. I believe that we already know. Now, your base pay remains the same. You get a 10% COLA. And you feel the 10% COLA could cushion you the times we live in now?
For the public sector employees?
Yes.
It is not the best, in actual fact. But you see, government had raised issues earlier about the bloated payroll, that, you know, workers' names, and also, again, the challenges that they are facing as far as this single spine implementation is concerned. So, and they have made us to understand that the public sector employees take about 70% of the total revenue that accrues to the state. So, they find it very, very difficult to negotiate any higher, percentage increase for the public sector. If they do that, it was going to create serious problem for the.
And so, how do you feel now that there is a 10% COLA, which will in effect affect the wage bill?
No, I think that this is better because it is not integrated into the salary of the workers. It is an allowance that will be paid outside the main salary that the workers will draw. So if it was to be added to the salary, then of course it was going to also affect social security contributions that the employer will have to pay and all that. And that was going to add extra cost to, payment of the public sector workers. It's not the best anyway. That's why it's a very long time to, get to that conclusion. And it's not the best. Actually, it's not the best. But looking at the presentation that the government brought up, and we think there's a serious problem. And you can see that this year's Midday, the theme that we chose for the Midday celebration, it's also an indication that organized labor is really concerned about how the economy is moving. And we have a duty now to also have a closer look at what is actually causing all these things. Are they the ghost names, or there are people in strategic positions who are also abusing the system to amass wealth for themselves? That is causing these economic, hardships. And so we have to, as labor, we have to do a lot of work so that next year will not be, told another story of the sinking economy and all that. There are systems people in the system who are deliberately, causing these problems. And I think that government must sit up and make sure that they deal with these criminals who have infected this whole system and causing, everybody to suffer and pay for it.
Right. Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for your time. Ibrahim Cumson is Secretary General for the Federation of Labour. Businessman Alfred Woyome on Monday opened his defense at the Economic and Financial Division of the Accra High Court and the ongoing 51.2 million Ghana cedi judgment death trial. The court, presided over by Justice John Ajet Nasam, last week threw out a submission of no case filed by his lawyers, paving way for him to speak to the allegations against him. After his no case application was thrown out, Woyome told the media the hearing would provide him an opportunity to tell the public what actually happened with regards to the judgment debt. The embattled NDC financier is facing charges of defrauding by false pretenses and causing financial loss to the state in the trial that has been ongoing for more than 2 years. Joining us is Ani Sabute was there, and he's joined me over the telephone. Thank you very much, Ani, for your time.
All right, thank you.
Tell us what happened in court today.
Okay, so today is essentially what happened was Mr. Woyome marched to the witness box to give his side of the story about the allegations that has been hanging around his neck for the past couple of years. And so his lawyer, led by his lawyer Osafo Boabin, he asked him to trace right from the very day 2008 his involvement. And Mr. Woyome in his testimony talked about the fact that he first got involved in this whole 2008 process through the then minister at the time, the late Osekweku, who invited him over to help secure some support because of his personal involvement in helping to sort of secure funding for infrastructure projects, and also because he also he's also kind of a sports enthusiast. So according to him, a series of meetings were held in the process leading up to that before Mr. Osafo Kweku was changed and Rashid Bao was brought in as well. In the course of that, he also talked about the fact that he also then narrated his own personal involvement regarding Ghana securing the bid itself. Because according to him, as of the time he got involved, Libya, where he had worked before, was equally interested in bidding for the CAN 2008. However, he kind of spoke to them for them to step aside for Ghana to secure the right to host the CAN 2008. So he said that happened, and then there were also the issue of wanting to raise funding to start the processes. For example, there was the rehabilitation of the